What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And if you are a San Francisco 49ers fan, I need you to take a deep breath because today we are getting into something massive. Something that has been the talk of every single NFL fan base across the country. Something that is reshaping the entire NFC West. And something that has the 49ers organization sitting in a very, very uncomfortable position right now. We are talking about the Myles Garrett trade to the Los Angeles Rams, what it means for San Francisco, and more importantly, what the 49ers are going to do about it. Because trust me, they cannot just sit back and watch this happen. The pressure is on, the clock is ticking, and the moves that Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch make in the coming weeks could define this entire franchise for years to come. So buckle up. Let's get into it. Let's start from the very beginning, because if you haven't been following this story closely, you need to understand just how seismic this trade actually is. The Los Angeles Rams acquired Myles Garrett from the Cleveland Browns, and in exchange, Cleveland received Jared Verse, the former Defensive Rookie of the Year, along with a 2027 first-round pick, a 2028 second-round pick, and a 2029 third-round pick. Now on its face, that sounds like a big haul going back to Cleveland. And yes, it is. But what the Rams got in return is arguably the most dominant defensive player in the entire National Football League. 23 sacks in one season. That is not human. That is a problem for every offensive lineman in the league, and right now, it is especially a problem for the San Francisco 49ers. CBS Sports. Now here is the part that makes this even more brutal if you are a 49ers fan. Myles Garrett was reportedly on San Francisco's radar last season, but seeing him land with a division rival only amplifies the sting. Think about that for a second. The 49ers knew about Garrett. They had interest. And now, instead of lining up beside Nick Bosa, Garrett is going to be lined up against Brock Purdy twice a year. That is the nightmare scenario right there. That is the kind of thing that keeps a front office up at night staring at the ceiling wondering where things went wrong. Sports Illustrated. And the reaction from inside the 49ers building has been telling. The initial news of Myles Garrett's trade from Cleveland to the Los Angeles Rams hit San Francisco 49ers offensive line coach Chris Foerster like a gut punch. A gut punch. That is not a mild inconvenience. That is a man who has been preparing his offensive linemen and now has to completely rethink his approach to protecting Brock Purdy. Foerster addressed the move while speaking to reporters, saying he's an outstanding football player. He's going to be a challenge for us to take care of. Now Foerster tried to put a brave face on it, talking about how every team in the NFC West has good players and that they will figure out a plan. But the body language does not lie. When your offensive line coach calls a trade a gut punch, that tells you everything you need to know about how the organization views this development. And let us not forget the schedule element here, because the timing of this makes it even more stressful for San Francisco. So the very first game of the year, the 49ers are going to walk out onto that field in front of a global audience. And staring back at them is going to be Myles Garrett in a Rams uniform with a fresh chip on his shoulder and something to prove. Week 1. Right out of the gate. There is no warm-up period, no easing into the season. It is immediately Myles Garrett, the NFC West, and high-stakes football in front of the entire world. Then they play each other again in Week 14 at Levi's Stadium. 2 games against arguably the best pass rusher who has ever lived. Fun times. Heavy sports. Last season, Garrett saw double teams on more than half of his pass rush opportunities, and he still led the league in sacks and pressures. Entire protection schemes were built around stopping him, and he kept producing at an elite level anyway. That is what makes him so terrifying. You can throw your best offensive tackle at him. You can chip him with a tight end. You can slide your whole protection toward him, and he will still find a way to get to the quarterback. He changes the way offenses have to think about everything. The Rams are not paying for pressures, they are paying for sacks, game-changing plays, and the certainty that comes with knowing exactly what Garrett is. And what Garrett is the kind of player who wins you championships. CBSSports.com. With rumors that head coach Sean McVay will retire when quarterback Matthew Stafford retires, it seems evident that Los Angeles has circled this year as a Super Bowl or bust campaign. And that urgency, that win-now mentality from the Rams, only heightens the pressure on what San Francisco does next. Because the 49ers cannot afford to be reactive. They cannot afford to sit on their hands and hope that things just work out. That is the reality of the situation. And the 49ers need to respond. Roundtable Sports, Sports Illustrated. So what can they actually do? Now I know some of you are rolling your eyes. I hear you. The 49ers have been dancing around this signing for months. But hear me out, because after the Garrett trade, this signing has taken on a completely different level of urgency. General Manager John Lynch has the cap space to make at least one more significant move to strengthen the 49ers roster heading into this season. And the 49ers have checked off a lot of boxes already, with re-signings and the additions of wide receiver Mike Evans, defensive tackle Osa Odigizua, and linebacker Dre Greenlaw. But the one glaring hole that remains? Edge rusher. And it is not even close. 49ers web zone. As of now, the starting defensive end opposite Nick Bosa is Sam Okwainonu, who is not particularly strong against the pass rush or in run defense. He is a backup who will get exposed by good offenses. Think about that. The 49ers are looking at opening the regular season against Myles Garrett, and right now their answer on the other side of the defensive line is a backup. That is not a recipe for success. That is a recipe for Brock Purdy getting happy feet every single game because he knows pressure is coming and coming fast. Sports Illustrated. The 49ers are currently $70 million under the salary cap, most in the league, and Joey Bosa remains unsigned as a free agent. So the money is there. The need is there. The opportunity is there. And the family connection is there because, of course, Nick Bosa plays for San Francisco. And the idea of the Bosa brothers playing side by side is something that has captivated this entire fan base. One analyst predicted that the Bosa brothers will play together for at least 5 games in 2026, suggesting that the lingering desire to play alongside Nick and San Francisco's obvious need at pass rusher will eventually draw Joey out of his long veteran summer. Now I do want to be fair and give you the full picture here, because this signing is not guaranteed. After amassing $156 million in 10 seasons of professional football, Joey Bosa, who turns 31 in July, is set for life and has the luxury of proceeding completely on his own terms. He is not desperate. He is not rushing into anything. Nick Bosa himself, when asked about his brother potentially joining the team, said, "I think he's working on his golf game right now. So I don't think he's thinking too much about football. So there is no guarantee this happens soon." But here is the thing. Once that Rams trade dropped, everything changed. The stakes are different now. The urgency is different. And a player like Joey Bosa, a competitor at his core, is going to see what just landed in his division and feel something stir. You do not spend over a decade in the NFL and just watch passively while your brother's team faces the most terrifying pass rusher on the planet without a capable running mate. Pride and competition have a way of cutting through the comfort of retirement. NBC Sports Bay Area Niners Nation. Star edge rusher Joey Bosa is still yet to sign, and 49ers fans would like to see San Francisco make that move happen. And frankly, after what the Rams just did, It would be borderline irresponsible not to make every effort to get this done. The NFC West just became the most dangerous division in football, and San Francisco has the cap space, the need, and the family angle to make this work. Since John Lynch first addressed the possibility earlier in the offseason when he downplayed it due to cost concerns, the situation has changed dramatically. The 49ers extended Trent Williams, lowering his cap hit, and now San Francisco sits with one of the strongest cap positions in the entire league. The excuses are running out. The window to act is right now. Roundtable Sports, Sports Illustrated. And let me tell you something about what this would mean for this defense if it comes together. You would have Nick Bosa on one side, Joey Bosa on the other, and the entire interior of that defensive line creating absolute chaos up front. Offensive coordinators would lose sleep. Quarterbacks would feel the walls closing in. And a 49ers team that already has Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey when healthy, and a receiving core that now includes Mike Evans would become a genuine, honest-to-goodness Super Bowl contender again. That is not wishful thinking. That is math. That is looking at the roster and recognizing that this team is one elite pass rusher away from being terrifying. Even at age 30, Garrett has the league's best get-off, and he now joins what is arguably the most competitive division in football. The Rams went and got their guy. Now it is time for the 49ers to go get theirs. The window is not closed. The path forward is clear. The cap is there, the need is undeniable, and the urgency has never been higher. If John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan are serious about competing for a championship in 2026, and I believe they are, then the next move they make needs to be bold, decisive, and it needs to happen soon. Because right now, the Rams are not waiting. They are building their dynasty one blockbuster trade at a time, and San Francisco cannot afford to play it safe while Los Angeles goes all in. CBSSports.com. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think the 49ers signed Joey Bosa before training camp? Do you think they make a different move entirely? I want to hear from all of you. If you are new here, hit that subscribe button because we cover 49ers news every single day.